Hi, what's up, traders? How you guys doing? I hope you guys had a great trading week, and we'll be going through just a couple of pairs in our weekly breakdown for the coming week, starting tomorrow, Monday the 29th of July. We've had a really busy week. This past week we had a lot of price movement. We had some news changing market direction for some pairs that we're looking at, and we'll just go through those ones, and I'll just give you my bias for this coming week. Please note that this video is not in any way a signal provider, right? So I'm not trying to provide signals in this with this video, but I'm just giving you my bias based on principles that I'll run through in this video. So the first one on the list is GBP USD, and let's just get into it. So we're on the daily chart right now, and for the most of the time, sorry about that, for the most of the time, GBP USD has been on a downward trend, starting on the 19th of March this year, and it's just been dropping ever since. And we've seen a lot of bearish movement, so we haven't really seen a lot of bullish momentum except for this period here and right about there. So currently price action is just playing below our weekly key level at 1.2500, and I am still expecting price to drop all the way downwards. So let me just zoom in. This was Friday, last week Friday, then this was Thursday, and this was Wednesday. So one thing of interest that we see here, we're seeing a tweezer top formation at an area of resistance. Okay, mark this out. We're seeing a tweezer top formation at an area of resistance. So we had price slightly pushing up. Actually, this movement here gave a lot of people hope that price will be shooting upwards. And once we saw like this bearish momentum here, also with what's happening in Britain currently, with Boris being appointed as the new Prime Minister of Britain, has seen the pound weakening. And I am still expecting some downward movement on this pair here. But back to this focus area here. So as you can see, we sort of had tweezer tops at this formation here. So this key level, which was support, now became a really strong resistance here. So we had a tweezer top formation here at that area, and we also had price falling off that area slightly. Back on this area of support, this region here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens market open, especially for the first 2 days up, just to see what the market has for us. We always wait for the market to show us his hand before we take any single trade. So it's also important to wait to see what the market has for us before we jump in any trade, because we could be quick to jump in. Seeing this area of support, you would just want to just take a buy here for a rise, but you're not really sure what market is intending to do, because you could have this kind of movement here, and then we can test that as resistance, and we can shoot downwards down this area here. So it's always important to wait to see what the market has for us before we take any trade. So we have this key area of daily support here, and we had a nice bearish tweezer top formation close right on an area of weekly resistance, and the EMA is also facing downwards, and we could potentially see some further drop in GBP USD. Let me just go to the 4 hours, and we'll see it much clearer there. So this is 4 hours. 4 hours. So like the daily, we saw some bearish movement, and also on the 4 hours we're seeing some really pretty strong bearish movement here. First time to see here is a strong hammer right at that key level here, and then we see another bearish engulfing candlestick formation right here, and we saw price fall off from there, and we also had an EMA crossover along those regions here, and price sort of went to previous daily support and just closed slightly below it. So my view, or my weekly sentiment for this coming week, what I'm seeing some further drop in GBP/USD, but like I said, I am just patiently waiting to see what market does around these areas here, around this key level of support. We could see price shoot up, we could see price slightly retracing before the move downwards to the next key level, of 1.2000. So but I am keeping my eyes on this pair, and I would love to see what it does, but based from the movement that we've seen so far on the daily and H4, because we failed to break this key level of resistance many times, and we had a really strong bearish close on Friday. And also, if we at least go back to the daily, if we go back to the daily, I am not seeing any bullish movement quite as yet, because we closed pretty bearish. And in terms of targets, if I put up the risk to roll tool, any entries around these areas here, drop them all the way to the next target, round about there. So there is a lot of price movement. Stops will be above that high. We are seeing a lot of movement on this pair. Like, we could have a lot of movements, and also just getting into the month of August, we could see about 370 odd pips coming from this pair alone. But like I said previously, what I'm waiting to see is what market does at these levels. If we break this level and go downwards, I will be expecting price to come to this level here as sort of my target. So that's GBP USD. That's what I'm currently seeing for this coming week. And then our next on the list is Euro USD. Euro USD, just like GBP USD, has been pretty bearish most of the year, starting from Feb all the way up until May, and we saw some bullish movement and then another drop right from there. So let's get into this one. So currently for Euro USD, we are seeing that price is at a solid daily support at prices 1.11176, and we saw price on Friday close extremely bearish. Let me just move this. Price here has closed extremely bearish, and then we sort of had that candle spike at that monthly key level here. So this was the candle that took out my trade on 20 pips. This was a news candle. Took out my trade on 20 pips. Then once I saw this kind of behavior, I just stepped away, and I just wanted to see what market is planning to do. So if I just go to H4, so H4, we're seeing some pretty strong bearish signs here. The first one of which, there's a big shooting star, that I'm seeing this level here. There's a big shooting star that I'm seeing at this level here, and also that shooting star failed to break this key area of daily support. We're at daily support here. If I just zoom out like this, I can show you daily support, and then that shooting star failed to break that area of daily support. And also we have our EMAs just moving away from each other, also facing downwards, telling us that price is still on a downward run. So what's interesting with this one is actually price came and sat again on an area of strong daily support here. So it'd be interesting to see what price does on Monday, market open, and also this coming week. But with this pair, I'm also expecting some further downward movement. Let me see if there's any previous area of support that price would want to come to. Okay, there's no place of support that I'm. Okay, there it is. There it is. So next areas that we could possibly see price come to would run about these areas here to test that form of support, and also here. So we could see USD also dropping from where it is, dropping for 260 pips, and also around about 500 pip fall on the euro, but that's really long term. But it'd be interesting to see what euro does at these levels here, just like GBP USD. But last week's daily close was pretty bearish, and both for euro USD and GBP USD. So I am really keen on seeing euro falling all the way, at least to come to this level here, round about from where it currently is, to just fall about 283 pips from where it is currently, to create further lows for the year, because this price here was the lows for the year. So I am really keen on seeing price falling to create further lows for the year, around about 1.08425. That's my bias on euro USD. And then the next on the list is AUD USD. So Aussie dollar as well has been pretty bearish. As you can see, one of my expectations is actually going accordingly. Let me just remove this. Let's jump on the daily time frame. So this is Aussie dollar. So we had a low, we had a high, we had a low, and we had a high, and we're expecting a low to give us a further swing high. But we had price just exploded and broke right through that trend line that we had there, and we sort of made our first target with the counter trend line rules. And then what we're expecting is for price to drop slightly lower to come test its levels here, and to also give us further lows for the year. Okay, actually not for the year, because we have this big long spike here. So also with Aussie dollar, I am still expecting a lot of bearish movement on this pair, and the EMAs have just crossed over here. So what we can see this coming week is price just slightly retracing, either on this area of daily support or right on the trend line, and seeing some further decline in the Aussie dollar. That's my first sort of bias for this pair. Or if it breaks above this area here, since it's at a key area of support, if it can break this trend line here we can see price bouncing on this trend line as form of support and price shooting higher. But at this moment I'm not really seeing any bullish movement, but that's in case or in an event price starts to react bullish from where it is. So we could be seeing some upward momentum in the form of a retracement and a drop further down. So in terms of targets to look out for, around about 160 pips off of this pair. So I am really looking to take trades within this region here, within this regions here. So I'm expecting to take trades within this region there, just expecting to see what price does within those regions, within these regions here, to allow me to take further shorts. But I am still on this one, short on this one, but it'd be very interesting to see what price does at these levels here. We pull back slightly and then we'll get a nice entry in these levels here for a further drop. Then one more pair to look at, NZD USD. NZD USD is similar to the Aussie dollar. It actually looks literally like the same. It's like a mirror image of the Aussie dollar. So I also had this form of trend line that we had here, same as the Aussie dollar. There was a trend line there, and then we had a key level, we had a key area of support here on the daily, key area of support. We sort of had another key area of support here, sorry, we had a key area of resistance here, and sort of had a low, a high, low, high. Then we sort of tapping that trend line here, and we're also about to have an EMA crossover at these levels here. We're about to have an EMA crossover and they're facing downwards, so we could see some downward movement on NZD USD. This is how Friday closed. Also closed pretty bearish, and this was the day before, this was Thursday. It closed on a nice bearish Maribazu, so we should be seeing some further market drop. Let's just run down to the weekly and see how the weekly looks like on this pair. So overall, the New Zealand dollar has been pretty bearish for most parts of the year, having strong resistance at these areas here and having prices fall all the way. So, and this looks like a fib to me. This looks like a fib to me. I'll just show it up like this. So we had price test the 61.8 right there, 61.8 on the fib right there. So we could see price just slightly drop from where it is to this level here, to meet our first target, minus 27, and to give us our second target at minus 61.8. So we could also see New Zealand dollar dropping further to give us further lows for the year. For my prices currently, I am expecting price to drop first target at this level here. So first target, we're looking for 285 pips, and then second target would be around about 437 pips from where price is currently. But my eyes is definitely on this one, because also on the weekly, as you can see, we had price retrace nicely on a 61.8, and then also we had a nice bearish engulfing candlestick formation there as our second biggest confluence. And then our third confluence was the EMA. The EMA is about to cross over on the daily time frame, and also on the weekly. If I just switch to the line chart, so we're about to have our EMAs just about to cross over at these levels here, to see some further drop in price in NZD USD. So most of the pairs that we're looking at are looking pretty bearish for this coming month. So just please be on the lookout for how price behaves, and also I'll be updating you guys as I go when I post every single time on the social media platforms. So just before I end this video, let's just go to the 4-hour time frame and see how price has been playing out on the 4-hour. So this is a 4-hour time frame. We had one hit, second hit, we have a third hit on the trend line. So what we could possibly see this week is price just slightly retracing, just to sort of come tap that EMA here, or just come tap at that area of daily resistance. So if we see price come here, we could potentially see a nice head and shoulder pattern, maybe a shoulder, head, shoulder, for a further price decline at those levels there, at those levels here. But for NZD, I am fancying some more drops in this pair in this week, which is the last week of July, and potentially some further drops in the first weeks of August. Guys, I hope this really does help you guys in your own personal trading, and it'll contribute to the success to your trading. So if you don't trade any of the pairs that I've gone through, just apply the same principles to your own specific pairs. So what you basically do, you first go to the weekly or the daily, see how the daily candle closed, especially Friday's candle, and I'll just go back in that week to see how that week generally performed. And also you can use your trend lines, you can use the trend lines, and you can also use the MAs. MAs is the 10 and 20 EMA. The crosses are very telling on daily, especially on daily. So like here, we're about to have an EMA crossover on the daily. So like I said, we could see price tap that trend line, just slightly pull back up to the MA and then drop. But like I said, if we do get a further rise in this pair, we could be seeing a nice head and shoulders on the daily. So we could see price come up here, sort of as a pullback, and then we could see price start falling right away. So if you could see price from there, we could see first target could be 145 pips, 222 pips, second target, and we could potentially see price even dropping further down. So thank you so much guys for tuning in, and I'll be updating you guys as the market moves after market opens this coming week. Thank you so much guys, and happy trading.